Hey Sophie,
And we're back
how are
again.
you? Yes, we are. Everyone, welcome back to Yanks the Cop. So we're here for our Norwich versus Liverpool Post Match. Liverpool won the game 3-0, started the season off with a bang. So just to start off with, Sophie, what did you make up the lineup? Because when we spoke on Friday, we were thinking that Virgil might not play, and he played the whole 90 minutes. So what did you think of the actual lineup in that midfield? Because it was quite attacking midfield.
Well, we were wrong, first and foremost, weren't we? Like, we all fucked that up. I genuinely was shocked to see Verge on the lineup. But then again, if he was fit, why not? The midfield, Naby, Milner. The only change that I said, because I said Fab playing, didn't I? And
Yeah.
he didn't. He played Ox. Front three, everything else was fine. That midfield for me just wasn't it. I wanted Milner on, and when you said Naby, it made more sense than Thiago, but I never would have put Ox in that starting lineup, and the game for me proved why, because he just disappeared. He did nothing of memorable at all in that game. So I'm taking long shots for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I in the game, and I was like, I feel bad because I want to love Ox the way I used to, and I don't anymore. I don't feel that way about him anymore. I still love him as a player. I still think he's great, but he's not the player he was, and he needs to adapt to his new role and needs to figure out what it is he's going to do, because it's not that anymore.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think I was surprised in terms of lineup. Obviously, I expected Matt to start. I thought we'll get onto them in more detail later on, but I expected him to start. Van Dijk, I was thinking he could start him, but I was probably thinking he'd just throw in Konate, but obviously Klopp's waiting to bed him in. Otherwise, the only thing that surprised me was maybe the midfield, because I did think that was a very attacking midfield he started off with. And I think we saw in the first 20 minutes that Norwich kind of although they didn't do anything with the ball, they had a bit more possession. And I was feeling even though we'll go into the Jota goal in a bit, but I thought even when we scored, I thought we weren't controlling the game properly in midfield.
Yeah.
And they even I think one of the chances when Norwich had where they got in behind us, that came again from midfield, not really controlling the game. Yeah. So I was surprised in that. Obviously, going into the game in more detail. How did you feel about the first 20 minutes? Were you a bit surprised that Norwich were dominating the game for that first 3 minutes, even though most of the ball's in their own half?
No. I said this before in our pre-match, and I said it in Doug's channel as well. Norwich were always going to never sit behind the ball. They were never going to sit back and let us come to them. They were going to push. They were going to try and show off a little bit. It's their welcome back to the Premier League type thing, isn't it? I wasn't surprised that they brought the games in the first 20 minutes, but even though they were in their half and they were pressed and then they had more possession, we were controlling it at that point. We weren't letting them make those breakthrough runs. They weren't really bothering anyone. Our back line weren't really tested by anything. So no, I wasn't surprised by that. I was kind of I was excited to see that, to be honest, because I just wanted to see a test our boys, because this is the first time we've really seen our fully fit squad, not even our complete squad yet, or not starting lineup. But it was nice to see them have a little bit of a challenge, somebody who comes with a bit of bite for them. But overall, the first 20 minutes of every game, aren't they? It just takes the game a while to settle down. I think after those 20 minutes, it settled down. You saw quite clearly that we pretty much allowed them to have that possession just to test the waters, because as soon as the 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark were done, we scored 26 minutes in, and there you go. The game was ours then. But I don't know. I wasn't shocked, but I wasn't concerned either. Whereas last season, I'd have been absolutely crapping myself for those 20 minutes.
Let's read some of the comments here. It's good to see you, Alan. Always welcome. Good to see you. Steven says, watching that performance felt like a wee bit like we were back to our old selves and didn't think we panic at the back. Yep, it did look like that. Good to see you, Chris. Kato played 82 minutes. Yes. You're not dreaming. That did happen.
Without an injury.
Cheddar says here, a lot of people thought Tsimikas played well. He thought it
Right.
was awful. Must have been watching a different game. We'll go on to Simicus.
No. Let's talk about that now. Let's bring that up because that's been brought up now. A lot of people clearly said Tsimikas played well, thought it was awful, been watching a different game. No, I think you were definitely watching a different game. Tsimikas has played 6 minutes in the Premier League for Liverpool. 6 minutes of football. And he pressed, and he attacked, and he crossed, and he defended. He was flawless for 70 minutes. And then, as Klopp rightfully said, it's like someone pulled the plug on. That boy was drained emotionally, physically, mentally. He was out of the game. And we saw it when he made that mistake and Milner slapped him and was like, get your head back in the game. He was done. He was absolutely cream crackers at that point. But that kid played brilliantly and shows us that he's a perfect backup for Robbo. So I don't know what game you were watching, Cheddars, but it sure as shit went the same game I was watching.
I agree with you saying that, and I think the thing with Tsimikas, it's going to still, people have to remember, like, he's brand new into the team. It's going to take him a while to get customized, with the other players because he's not obviously played that much football even with any other centre backs. So it's going to take him a while to get accustomed to that, and it's going to still take him a while to get used to Liverpool style of football. But obviously, there's still, things where I think over the season, which should improve, like his defensive positioning will improve because I feel like, but then I also think that it didn't help maybe as well, like that left-hand side wasn't as strong as it normally was in terms of understanding. Yeah,
like as you just said, he's barely played anything. We've seen players play longer than that and still not get a full 90 minutes with an injury. He's never played for us before. The poor kid had nothing more to give. He was going to make mistakes. He was going to be caught out defensively. But that'll sharpen up. And let's not forget, let's just touch on the fact that Virgil's next to him. Virgil is at 80% at best right now. He was brilliant yesterday. Very, very good. But he's still not quite as quick and tactical and match savvy, I'll say, as he will be. He's still got a little bit. And that only comes when you get minutes in your legs. When you get those few games under your belt, then Virgil will step up his game as well. Same goes for Matip. Same goes for Trent. They've all had injuries. But then Tsimikas has not only had COVID, he's not only been injured himself, he's barely had time to train apart from this pre-season. He's barely had any time to embed himself in the squad, and now he's been thrown in the deep end. And I think for the kid who threw himself in the deep end, was thrown in, because if Robbo hadn't been injured, he still wouldn't have been playing. He's been thrown in at the deep end straight away off one pre-season. So he's had 2 or 3 weeks of training with this squad. And I think if you're going to sit there and nitpick him for his performance yesterday, more fool you, because you've got to look at the positives for that lad, because he's done a brilliant job considering all things combined for him. And defensively, those holes will be covered, like I said, when Virgil's fully fit again and match fit. Then that'll all, and the longer they work together and build up a partnership on the left, they'll understand each other's, movements, their idiosyncrasies. Same goes with Mane. He'll pick up on those links that Robbo, and Robbo will still be there. So Robbo will be able to give him support and guidance on how he plays the game. Klopp as well will also instruct him on how he wants him to play. So he'll make that link up with with Mane, And we've seen him link up brilliantly with Jota. Those crosses into Jota yesterday were absolutely phenomenal. They were sublime. And I don't understand the slating for him, saying he needs to be better. Well, of course he needs to be better. But he's doing a great job so far. One game, and we got 70 minutes of brilliant football before the poor kid was on his knees. I couldn't play 10 minutes of Premier League football, and I'd be dead. So there you go, rant over, I'm done.
Yeah, I agree there. He'll get better. He's still a long way to go. The more games he plays, the more he'll have a great understanding of the team. Everyone, if you haven't done so, do smash that like and subscribe button. We appreciate it. I'm just seeing some of the comments here again. Chris says Tsimikas played well for 70 minutes. It's his first game. We have to be realistic.
Yeah.
Very true. Steven says, now seeing Tsimikas on the side fills me with some confidence that we have a good backup to rest Robbo. That's definitely true. Chris is saying, is it a danger to play Van Dijk versus Burnley? No, I think that'd be a perfect game for Van Dijk.
Back there, and if he is, he'll be able to handle that, no problem.
Yeah, I think it'll be that kind of game he needs, like a real physical challenge, especially with Chelsea around the corner. So I think that's a perfect game for him coming up. So going back to the game, obviously we got a bit of luck for the first goal in how it fell to Jota, but what about Jota is just he's clinical, in those situations. Like he doesn't need time to think; he just smashed that straight away into the back net, and like I think sometimes obviously with Jota, like he might not look as if he's doing much in the game, but then he has that instinct of like being able to make those runs and score the goals, which is what I like about him. And I thought like he played good yesterday. And I just think that goal just shows sometimes the clinicalness sometimes we might miss in certain games in the past, or the difference in because I also thought the front three, I thought that they were very good in terms of linking up and interchanging. Just were a bit unlucky with certain passes and stuff, but they were very good. Yeah. So what did you make of Jota's goal, and how did you think about the actual front three combining? Like when you compare that to how they played in the second half when Bobby came on.
Like that front three is a good front three. That walks into most starting lineups for most teams in the Premier League, doesn't it? Really. Jota is so clinical. And as you've just said there, like it may look like he's doing nothing in the game. I don't really agree with that because we are quite used to having our front three tracking back. And when they're on a counter, they're running back to defend or they're running back to hold in the midfield so the midfielders can push further back, etc., etc. Jota's not that type of player. Jota is very clinical, very quick, very pacey. For me, I'm not seeing it or reading it as he stands in there doing nothing. I'm standing there watching him going, he's reading the game and he's waiting for the pass, he's waiting for the break, he's waiting for the counter, he's waiting for that run. He's thinking about that goal scoring opportunity, which is that clinical fight that we've been missing. I think the front three worked really well as it was, but I tweeted it out, as much as I love Jota, nothing compares to those front three. Because the minute Bobby came on, that front three, the chemistry between them, they've played together for 5 seasons now? That chemistry between those three is the difference to me. Yes, that front three, Bobby, Mane, Salah, hasn't been the most clinical the past season. We've missed chances where we could have easily have taken them and scored from them, a couple of seasons ago. However, it's that link between them that edges it better for me for Jota. Jota brings a technical ability in that we've been lacking, but for now, that emotional, that bond, that trust isn't as strong as it is between the front three, which is understandable. But when those front three are together, it's something else. Like the minute they came on, I think, how long was it after Bobby came on they scored?
I think like before the 70th minute, yeah.
That says it all, doesn't it? You just saw they know where that other person's going to be. They can drop the ball back, they can make a straight pass, and they know 8 times out of 10 that person's going to be there for them intended. Jota hasn't quite got that yet, but that will come with time. But I don't care, to be honest, personally, whether you play the traditional front three or Jota slots in, because I think Jota is phenomenal. I don't know. I like them both for very different reasons, and I can sit here and sing the praises of Jota being in the front three, but then I can sit the cons of him being in the front three. But that's a good choice to have. That's a good dilemma, a good issue.
Yeah, I think it plays into hands in certain different games for us. Obviously the fact that we can bring on Bobby and he can come on and score a goal and change the game. I think it gives us a different dimension. Obviously people say we could do one extra forward, which we probably could, but I think it gives an option. Like we saw, teams want to play a high line. We can play like Salah, Jota, and Mane and go for pace, and that'll probably give teams problem. When they play like a team that's going to sit deeper, they can bring in Bobby on to link up the play and and drop deep and create spaces. So it gives us options, and yeah, it is good to see that have us having that kind of option in terms of being able to change it.
So, what did you think of Jota down the middle? Because I know we spoke about, didn't we?
I like it because we saw Jota down the middle when Salah was injured last year when we beat Wolves and Leicester, and when we beat Wolves and Leicester. So I think Jota can play there. So
me, oh, sorry, carry on. Sorry.
No, I think for me, he can play there. He has scored goals there. So it just I think the difference is if we're going to play him through the middle, we need the midfield behind that to be on point in terms of their pressing and stuff, because obviously Jota doesn't press like Bobby does.
No, and he doesn't track back and make those defensive recoveries like Bobby does either. But again, it's a good problem to have. Like, it's nice to have that, that issue, if you want to call it an issue. I liked Jota down the middle because I always personally said that Jota was Mane on the left. He was going to play on the left. He was going to be the replacement for Mane, and that we needed to bring somebody in to replace Bobby when Bobby needed it. And now I actually think Jota plays very similar to Bobby previously. I know Bobby's role has changed ever so slightly over the past couple of seasons. He played a bit deeper. But Bobby, 3 years back, that was Jota. That's what Jota was doing. He was running in on goal. Yes, Doug, he does need another 200 million. But I really liked Jota, and it's nice having that versatility, knowing that he can play both on the left and in the middle, and we don't have to really worry about that. I definitely want another forward, though. I'd say another forward before a midfielder now at this point, I think.
Yeah, I agree there. Let's read some comments. Yeah, I think Chris brings a good point about the full capacity in terms of fans. I think that, I think obviously when you look at last season, I think there are certain teams that were fine without no fans. Like Man City were fine with no fans. Yeah, yeah. So there's certain teams like that they were fine with no fans, and they still, it didn't affect them. And there were teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, like we're known for thriving off the fans. And the one thing I liked about yesterday was the fact that it was the Liverpool fans you heard, not the Norwich fans.
Yes. Oh my God.
It was so loud. It's like at times I thought, are we playing at home? Because we're the ones chanting the whole of the game, and Norwich fans are silent.
Did you hear the Norwich fans when the travelling cops started singing again? And they were like, "Oh, we forgot you were here," chanting that. And I was like, "Mate, we haven't heard you for 70 minutes. Shut up." They started acting like they hadn't heard us forever. And I was like, are you listening to a different game? Because I haven't heard them. Shut up.
Yeah, that's what I loved. Because obviously that crowd, it feeds the players. And I think I tweeted last week, I said, look, 100% feel that, we had the full fans in the Madrid games, we would have beaten Madrid and gone through. Yeah. We'd have come back and they would have pushed us to put those goals in the back of the net. And, it makes a massive difference. And so, I'm thinking when we go to Burnley and we play at home, I think Burnley, how awesome it's going to be, full packed Anfield crowd, buzzing. So, I'm excited.
I'm not going to lie, there was 40,000 in on the pre-match on the Sunday, and it was good. So imagine when you got the extra, 16,000 on top of that. Can't wait.
That's going to be electric.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Cheddar's here says he loves for me the link-up play. Agree with you there. Yeah. Chris Welsh says first Jota on the left. Dugout says here, obviously, Man City lost and they Pep needs another £200 for Dola. I agree with that. Doug's also said Crystal Palace and West Ham are quiet about Origi. I hope that's true, Doug. And I know I saw the article earlier today, I think from the Standard or one of those. I hope it's true. Doug says Man City have lost 7 out of the last 15 Premier League games. But they have Norwich enter next week. Yeah, although City lost today, you expect them, they're going to come back. So,
today. I mean, I know we're talking about our post-match yesterday, but just quickly, City were not good. And do you know what? I said this when we were watching it. Obviously, Nuno's taken over Spurs, so they're not playing that park the bus on cinder blocks tactic. They were playing a lot more attacking football, which was it was nice to watch. And I think Nuno, I hated playing Wolves because of the way he played them play. Now he's doing that with quality players, and I'm kind of like, oh, that's not great for us, for anyone else. But the minute an attacking team, and I've said this, and we've all said it, the minute a team attacks City, if they don't score within 15 minutes, they start panicking. They are literally the spoiled brats of football. And that's what they did. They panicked. After 15 minutes, they hadn't scored. And they just fluffed it up. And what the hell was Diaz doing?
Yeah. What? But yeah, that's why I say that it was premature when I was saying Diaz is the best centre-back in the world. It's only because Virgil was injured and people forgot about him.
I know people can have bad games, but bloody hell, that was awful. He literally let the ball go past him. If he'd stuck a leg out, that wouldn't have gone in.
Well.
Anyway, back to our game.
Back to us. So just Yeah, just thinking about our midfield again for that first half. I think when I look at it, I look at obviously Milner, Keita, Ox. It reminded me of our Champions League games when we'd already qualified and we were playing sometimes the Champions League games we were playing like Ox, Keita, and Millie in midfield. And I felt then as well in those games that we lacked control, because the problem with that is no one's a dedicated DM there in terms of going to break up play and do what Fabinho does. So with that, then it's like I think sometimes Keita was doing that. He's doing the Ronaldo role of dropping deep and doing that. So then obviously that takes away from his creativity side that you'd normally see Keita doing. And the problem is obviously Milner. I thought Milner played very well yesterday. I thought he did his job. I think that it became unbalanced. Now I'm not obviously going to slander Ox, but I just feel like I tweeted today that the 17-18 Ox is gone. We'll never see Ox ever again.
Yeah, I said that.
And the reason for that is, Ox was a fantastic player that year. It's the injuries have caught up with him. And not trying to obviously single him out, but I feel like I think when Ox plays in midfield now, he doesn't do the defensive work. He doesn't track back or do any or tackle. And in that 17-18 season, he was doing sliding challenges. That's how he got injured. He did an amazing sliding challenge and then hurt his knee.
Understandably so, but I completely agree with you about Ox. I still love him, and when he came back from injury, I was so excited. I literally was counting the days down, going, "When are we seeing Ox back? When are we seeing Ox back?" And when they kept saying, "Oh, April, he'll be back in April. Oh, he'll be back in May," I was like, "Oh, I want to see him back," because I knew what he was. He's a perfect example of a player getting an ACL injury and not coming back the same. He's not come back the same, and that's fine because he's now frightened to go in for these challenges, which, okay, I understand because he's had an injury on his knee several times after that. It's weakened. He can't make those challenges. He's never really been a defensive player anyway, so he's probably struggling to find his new role and adapt. And especially, it's not helping that he's trying to adapt to a new role in a team like Liverpool, where everybody has very much got an important job to do. You can't do Fabinho's job because he'd need to be doing the sliding tackles. He can't do Genie's job because he hasn't got the ability to hold the ball because he loses possession, he gets dispossessed very easily. He hasn't got the ability to run forward anymore. So what is he going to do? What do you want him to be doing anymore now? He needs to find and figure it out quickly, because for me, that performance was lackluster. And as you said, I don't want to slander Ox because Milner's great, but Milner isn't a normal starter. He's someone you bring on normally at 70 minutes or so. Milner's job there was to be the captain and to add a little bit of balance to it. Keita's job was to be the creative midfielder pushing forward, but then Ox is also meant to do that. Like you said, it became very unbalanced. There was no secure DM, and it was. But for me, Ox was more the unbalance. When Ox went off and Fabinho came on, Fabinho slotted back into CDM. Milner went into a holding midfield role, passing. And Naby was the one running forward, and it worked a lot better because we had that secure CDM in there. And Ox was the linchpin that needed to come out and be replaced for me. That was a good sub.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I think what I noticed as well today, there was a lot of people who were today on Twitter slagging off Keita. Now, look, I think a lot of people with Keita, they get, obviously we know he's had injuries and stuff, and that's been a frustration for us. But I think a lot of people expected him still to be like how he was at Leipzig, and failing to understand that he's not. Leipzig, they played a complete different game. It was all counter-attacking football, and Keita was given a license just to roam and do whatever he wanted and get the ball down, because they were all about getting the ball quickly forward as possible. Complete different style. So you're not going to see Keita really forcing the game that he did there, because he doesn't have to do that. He's more structural. So you're not going to see him. Yeah, sometimes you might see him dribble, but obviously his dribbles have gone down in terms of. But then again, our style of football is completely different. So I thought obviously, Keita can play much better, but I thought he was good in terms of the control he did. I mean, I think there was a stat in the first half. He had 6 tackles, and the rest of the team combined only had 5 tackles. Yeah. So that shows you, that Keita was doing a good job, but from a defensive standpoint and a controlling standpoint. Obviously, what you said, when Fabinho came on, he changed the game, and it allows Keita more freedom to get forward and influence the game. So I think, if you have Fabinho next to Keita, you'll see a much better Naby Keita. So, obviously, it's good that he got 82 minutes under his belt, and hopefully that, I think he'll start again against Burnley because I don't think Thiago Henderson is going to be fit for that. So I think we need if we can either have good performance against Burnley, then that's positive. And also, like I said, Milner, I think you're right. He was only there to be the captain and just to bring some organisation. And he did play well.
Burnley again. Milner and Fabinho will start against Burnley, in my opinion, because we need that captain. I mentioned it before, but the minute Tsimikas fucked up, he was right there. Whack, get your head together, soft lad. Get your head in the game, sort your shit out. That's what we've missed last season, because if that had happened last season, there was nobody there who was going to step up and tell him off. And I was laughing and I was like, he's just full on roared at him. And I was like, but that's what they need. Because otherwise, you're going to lose your head. All the players will lose their head. You make a mistake, you lose your head. You need somebody seasoned there to be like, no, pack your shit in. Stop worrying about yourself. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about what you think or how you feel or your mistake. You fix it now and you carry on. There's still 20 minutes on the clock. And that's what Milner's needed until Henderson comes back. That's why he's vice captain, in my opinion. And I think Virgil, I know he's a third choice captain and he's very good at it. He is very good controlling the game from the back line. However, with Virgil still being 80%, not being up to fully fit, I don't think it's fair to put that burden of trying to get back into the game himself and controlling the team and being a captain on him. I don't think that's fair. So for me, Milner has to start. And people were slating him and that. It's like, he's 34, 35 now?
35 now.
He's 35 years of age and he's still playing. He's still battering young kids around on the pitch. He's doing a good job for the role he's playing. But I'm sick of seeing the Millie slander. No one was slandering him when he absolutely bodied people, battle rolling him off his back in Champions League worthy.
No, I think Milner played very well. He was doing some really good balls. So I think anyone who was trying to criticize Milner yesterday, need to give their head a little wobble. But I just wanted to bring this point here that Anthony brings up. That he says Harvey is now on the genie we need and we don't need to spend.
No, it's not.
Now, obviously, I've shared my views big times, the last couple of weeks. I've tweeted it out regularly. Now, I think obviously, look, with Harvey Elliott, I think he's a great talent. And I think he's going to be a very good player in the future for us. But I think the thing with Harvey Elliott is obviously in the 10-minute cameo, he did play well and he did look good against a tired Norwich team. But there were still things where he needs to work on his defensive side, which will come. Because there are still times where Fabinho...
God, you love a defensive side, don't you? Jesus!
In a Klopp team, you have to be able to attack and defend if you want to work. And there was a bit where Fabinho did say to him, you might be watching on your side in terms of defensive side. So that's one thing that will come over time when he gets better as he plays more games. But it was something, So I think it's also as well. He's only 18, so to say he's the genuine replacement is put a lot of pressure on him because I don't think he's going to play in week out, and I think he's only going to be getting 10-15 minute games here. He's not. I think there's not going to be many games he's going to start in the Premiership, from my point of view personally. League Cups, FA Cup, yeah. I don't think he's going to start a Premiership game. I think he's always going to become another sub. I'll be surprised if he starts. So I think we have to be careful in terms of how we manage Harvey Elliott. Now, going on to the other point of spending. Now, for me, people again said to me, look, that we are chopper block in terms of centre fielders, right? Now, I say, obviously, my rebuttal to that, as I said a few times, is 4 of those centre fielders are injury prone. Kate is injury prone, Ox is injury prone, Hendo's injury prone, and Thiago has his injury histories from the past. So we need to spend. No, I'm not negative. I'm rational. I'm rational. I say
negative Nelly. Here he is. I love it.
It's not negative. I'm just saying
you are a negative Nelly.
I'm just saying when people say we don't need to spend a centre fielder, I think they need to be realistic. But what is your view, Sophie? Then, do you think that we don't need a centre fielder? We don't need to replace Jenny. That we can actually go into the season relying on those players knowing how injured they get.
Okay, so who we've got? Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson, Milner, Ox, Shaq. Say for argument's sake, he's saying Shaq, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones. That's 8 players. Okay. Ox is injury prone. Keita's injury prone. That leaves 6. Okay.
Hendo's injury prone. Think about how much football Hendo's missed the last 3 seasons. He's injured. Look at his injury.
Hendo missed the last 6-8 weeks of the season we won.
But even the year before, he does.
Right, where's my shush button? Right, I'm getting it ready because I'm going to need it. That I can feel like I'm going to need it on this. Right, so that leaves us 6. Okay, 6 big players. Fabinho is always going to play. Okay, Thiago is always going to play. Right, that leaves one place, one position. Okay, that leaves you Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones. Who else did I miss? Milner, and
that's it. You already said Keita and Ox injury prone.
No, there would be 6. Keita, Ox. Anyway, that would leave them one place to play them. Okay, you are not going to drop Fabinho, and you are not going to drop Thiago. And if Henderson's playing, you're not going to drop Henderson. So those other boys, that's who I was missing, Henderson. Those other boys are going to come on as subs. They're never going to be relied upon to play 90 minutes every week, week in, week out, like the others are. If Hendo's fit, Hendo's place is rightfully there because he's captain. Fabinho, we've seen that you cannot drop him. And Thiago, absolutely phenomenal player. Again, can't drop him. So for me, yes, we do need a midfielder because the others are injury prone. However, when you think about it logically, right, there's enough there in that midfield to play 40 minutes, 60 minutes covering. Okay, there is enough. Technically, there is enough players there. However, if we get injury to our front 3, touch wood, if we get an injury to our top front 3, apart from Jota, who the fuck have we got?
Yeah, but it's not for me, it's never been you're picking one of the front out of the front 3 in midfield. You need both. Both are crucial. You know, because I think
but if you've only got the option, if you're sat there, right, if Klopp
you have the option.
If Klopp came to you right now and said, "We're homie, right? Do me a favour, right? We can only afford to get a midfielder or a someone for the forwards. Which one are you going to pick? Are you going to go for one that's got 4 players for a 3-positional role, or are you going to pick to add another player to a position that's got 6 players in backup?" Yes, they are injury prone, but realistically, I'd rather spend the money on making sure those gaps, because there is squad depth there. There's no squad depth. We are run thin. If Bobby gets an injury, like an ankle injury like he has done, if Salah gets an injury like he has done, we've just got Mane and Jota. So who the hell are you going to put up there? You're going to put Ox on the wing?
Of course, I think, I'd go for a striker first, obviously. But I think after you get a striker, I think if you don't get a centre fielder, I guarantee you some point in the season it's going to hurt us.
I don't think we can afford both. I think it's one or the other.
I think we shouldn't be in that situation where we can only afford one. I think that's just a joke. It's a joke. But
it's not a joke, though, Wahimi. It's not a joke. The club have been made self-sustainable. You buy what you earn. Okay. We've seen everybody went mental over the night kits, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's going to bring in brilliant revenue." But then everybody complained that the kits were costing £100. So they went and bought fake ones from DHgate instead. So the money from the night kit that you wanted, all that revenue, all those millions of pounds you thought were getting funneled back into the club, aren't getting funneled back into the club because you aren't buying the real kits. You're not buying the real merchandise. We haven't been able to go to games, so they haven't made any money on tickets. We haven't been able to go to games and buy merch, so you haven't made any match day merch money either. So apart from what they've made by selling players or sustainability, the club haven't got a magic money tree in the garden, and FSG don't invest their own money into it. We've discussed this. But hello, Albie, where do you think that we are going to get 40 million and another 40 million? Like, where do you think we're getting? There's like 80 million for now. Because
then if we weren't going to buy anyone to replace it, we should give Ginny what he wanted then.
Depends how much you wanted. Quite a little guess.
Well, he's only on what? I think he only got like 180 at PSG. Could afford that. That's all he got. So it's not massive. He's on PSG. He's not over like 200. He's only on 80. We could have given him that. So if that was the case, we should have given him what he wanted.
Again, we don't know the ins and outs of that because we say I would have given Genie the world. Me personally, I would have given whatever he wants. I adored him, but maybe the terms that Liverpool were willing to offer him weren't what he wanted, and it might not have been just about money.
I think it was about money because look what he did at Barcelona.
It might have been mostly about money. So say they offered Genie 75k a week, okay? Say they offered him that, right? That's only what would you say he was getting PSG 80?
180.
180. So okay, so say 175. They give him 170 for argument's sake. They offered him that, right? That's a good wage to get. But there must have been another reason why he didn't accept it. Because 10 grand more a week, you don't leave a team where you win everything.
I think the answer is what Barcelona. The fact that he was signed for Barcelona, PSG offered him money. It's 100% money. Otherwise, he would be at Barcelona right now because he was 90% sealed for that deal, and then he just jumped. But yeah,
we can argue about Genie Wijnaldum to the cows.
We're digressing.
Let's get back into like the chat.
So yeah, everyone here, if you haven't already, do smash that like and subscribe button. We appreciate it. So doing some of the comments here. Anthony says Milner's been a legend for us. 100% agree there. Chris Wells says he wanted Elliott to go out on loan. I think some people wanted to go out him alone, but I always felt like it's better for him, even if just as a squad player, to stay. Anthony says just don't think we'd spend this season. Yeah, probably doesn't look like we might spend, which is going to be a travesty. Ravi says Milner could still do a job but not play for full 90 minutes. That's true. Dina says Curtis Jones. I'm on 50-50 about Curtis Jones.
Ravi says, I think we will argue till the cows come home if we want to sit there and pick about our players.
Yeah, I'm thinking about him.
You have to balance us out right now. We can't get into a fight.
No. Ravi says, what about Thiago? Yeah, Thiago is going to come back. It's going to be great. Furnace says it depends on who goes out the door. That's true. That is a struggle. Anthony says we should sign Cantwell. I don't think Cantwell's good enough for us. Decent player, but I don't think he's at Liverpool level. Ravi says the question from the panel: where do you see Liverpool in the Prem by December? As long as we are at least second and no more than 5 points off City, I'd be happy with that. Because I think that'd be a good starting point. Chris says up the DH gate. By the way, what an app! Okay, that's cheap t-shirts. Yeah, I got one from there as well. It finishes, you say, but what you earn. But Klopp said all the money we spent on Konate hadn't been earned yet. So the player sales that go now wouldn't contribute much in the kitty. And then Ravi says, Chris Welch, my brother, are the shirts ADH good then?
No,
they're not good, but if you want a Liverpool shirt, you can get one for cheap there. Dina says it's length of contract. That's obviously in terms of Ginny. And Ravi says, I've been getting Liverpool kit. Chris has been getting Liverpool kits from there for the last season. Okay, so just going back to the game. So the 61 minute, it was clear that we needed changes, and Klopp brought on Fabinho for Ox and Firmino for Jota. And obviously we saw straight away Liverpool start getting control of the game and start bossing the game. And obviously we saw Bobby's back to his old Samba, like in terms of his link-up play and movement. He looked refreshed, which was good. And obviously saw that Fabinho just transforms the game. He breaks up plays and always in the right position, and just gives that kind of stays a shape in the middle of the park. And it's good to, like I said before, to have those options you can bring off the bench. Ideally still, I don't want to see Fabinho on the bench much. I want to see him starting every game, because I think we're not the same team without Fabinho in that midfield.
I think it's not even an option to put Fabinho on the bench for me. I don't think it would be for many, if any, fans. We saw last year when he went into centre back, people were like, "Oh, yeah." I said it myself. I was like, "Fabinho's fantastic in centre back. I quite like him there. Give the boy the break." And then after a couple of games, you saw the hole he left in midfield, and we saw it yesterday before he came out at that 60-minute mark. Like we said, it was very unbalanced. He came out balanced straight away. There is nobody who does his role the way he does. You can't bench him. It's impossible. It's like benching Alisson. You wouldn't do it.
Yeah, 100% then. I think I loved, obviously the Bobby goal, the movement between the Mo Salah and Mane and Bobby was sensational.
That was the goal you saw coming. From the minute they made that break, you knew. I was watching them and I was like, they're going to score now. Because you just knew it was the fluidity between them. they just knew where they were going to be. It was a proper team, like front three goal there. That wasn't just Bobby's goal. That was all of them.
Yeah, I love the vision for Salah to be able to see Bobby free. That was sensational. You know, like, and you know, it just reminded me of the front three in the 17-18 season when we got to the Champions League. Because you know, obviously they've not always had that fluidity last season. We can debate what the reasons for that are, but it looked good to see that back again. Like that it was beautiful football, and I just loved the crowd singing Bobby's song, and it just echoed around the stadium. It's just like it sent chills on my spine. I was like, this is not Anfield, and yet
it feels like it.
Yeah, all you can hear is
it was Bobby's face though, wasn't it? Like even when Mo scored as well, and Mo ran straight to our little section of our fans. It means everything to them to have fans back, and there's literally they are the 12th man in every game for them. I just want to go on to Ravi's question here. Like, do I think the squad depth is better now, or do we need to add another couple of players? I think our squad depth is better. Would I say it was where it needs to be, the end product? Absolutely not. Me and Wahomey have just had a big debate about like midfield. Like, we obviously need somebody else in midfield, but if you've only got the option for one, my priority would remain with the forwards. I think we do need another right back for Trent, but as I've said before many times, where in the market is there somebody who does what Trent does, who's willing to sit on the bench and wait for a game? There isn't one, so that's somebody who needs to come from the academy for me, which we'll see in the rebuild. Centre-back wise, I think we've got a really good squad depth in centre-backs now. I'm comfortable with that. I'm really happy with Costas for Robbo. I like that. Midfield, but we've got the numbers in there. Eventually, I would like to replace some of them, like Shaqiri, Ox. I'd like to shift them and bring somebody new in who's going to be a bit more of a starter. And we do need somebody else with front three. So I think you bring in another 2-3 players over the next 18 months or so, I'd be happy with that squad depth. I personally would be happy with that. I think it's better than it was last year, because last year we were on paper thin ice. We had nobody. But it's not the end product, by nowhere near. Well, Homie, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I do think that we need that striker, an extra forward. I agree with you there. I do think for me, I think there is one reason for me with Ox. The only reason we're keeping him is because of homegrown quota, because he counts as that. Otherwise, I think that would impact us. I agree with you in terms of I don't think we had the money this season anyhow to find another Simicus for the right wing. So I don't think, and plus I heard Nico staying now. So I think they're not selling him. They decided not to. I think he needs to go, but I think they're not. I heard Jane Pierce said that they turned down 10 million for him. So I don't think they're selling him. They're just going to keep him, maybe revisit it next summer. So I do agree with you there. I do think if we had one choice, we have to sign a forward, and then that's I think that then see what's what. I think the issue obviously is getting Origi. Like, we can't, if we got Origi money, we could buy a midfielder. But
I think even Hampton is being someone for our front three and our forwards. I said we've got 4 players for a 6, and I completely forgot he was there. I don't even want him there.
Yeah. Reading some of the comments, Dinesh says Liverpool going to buy 2 players. I hope you're right, Dinesh.
I hope so.
Ravis says big up the Raga Mathis of making the Bobby song sick band yet. Chris Ross is not singing person unless it's you're not walk alone. Anthony passed 2 players, Sanchez and Sarr. Anthony Sanchez got injured. He's going to need surgery.
We don't need any more knee problems. Jesus Christ, we are not Arsenal.
I would completely stay away from Sanchez. Look at his injury record. He'll be another Akalani. So going on back to the game, actually, Ravi said I agree with you, Sophie. The full cost will take its toll on our squad, so I do think we need to invest. Going back to the game, going to Salah's goal. Like, I was saving Salah kind of like to the last, because I think it was just you can go on about speculatives about Salah. I mean, and I just think like that goal by Salah was just beautiful. Takes it down and he was trying that earlier on in the game a few times, but it wasn't going well. Then he got it. I just think, like, people criticize Salah. They say, "Oh, Salah's selfish," which is not true because, like, he's joined third in all the assists since he's been in the Premiership with Trent, and he's always up there as one of the biggest chances creators. And you saw yesterday, like,
He tried to give Mane a goal.
Yeah, he tried to give Mane a goal when he should. When you think normally think Salah takes that and shoots, but he tried to do that. So and you can see his face when he didn't pull the pass off, like he was like frustrated he didn't get the pass off correct. So I think Salah was outstanding again yesterday. The goal, his 2 assists, and he just keeps breaking down the stats. I think he broke the record of the first player to score in 5 season openers. He's 3 goals off Drogba for being 4 for being 4 goals off Drogba for being the all-time African scorer. I mean, he's
4 goals off being in the top 10 Premier League all-time scorers.
But I think he's also for in terms of African players.
Oh, I haven't looked at that one. Sorry.
Yeah, I think he's only either 3 or 4 off Drogba because Drogba has the record of the most African goals. So
season ones, they're just selling. How dare he be this good 5 seasons in a row?
So much been a one-season wonder, as Riot fans said.
He's like quadrupled his worth, for crying out loud. Like, he's a phenomenal player, and if he'd have scored that volley, I
hate to be a Rio. Give him the contract. Let him sign what he wants.
No! Don't you dare say that. Don't you dare. Look, I've woke the dog up now. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I hate to be Rio. But
well, don't be, because that went tits up when he said that, and we fucking trolled him for years with that. Don't you dare. Don't you bring that on this channel.
Give the man whatever he wants.
But yeah, give him whatever he wants.
Yeah,
give him a house. His house is 10 times the size of mine, but I'll give him my house.
Yeah, because the guy's just his consistency of being that good every year is ridiculous. So I think we are.
It's not just how good he is; it's his attitude, and everyone goes, "Look how angry he gets when he doesn't score." That's what I want. Like, you see him, there was that clip in Austria in training, and it was just 5v5 in training. And Matip missed. He tried to assist Matip missed. And Salah threw a tantrum. And they were like, fucking hell, Salah throwing a tantrum in pre-season training. How pathetic that. And I was like, but that's what I want. I want him to be annoyed when he doesn't score or assist. Because that shows me a player who's still hungry.
Second, and I think you also remind yourself how much professional he is. Salah's top fitness all year round. You've seen him on his holiday, showing him in the gym, working out. Like, some players, look at Hazard, some of his fat comes back and comes back to Madrid overweight, and they criticize him for that. You never see Salah that. He's impeccable, keeps himself in top shape. So, not only is he
he's very strict.
Yeah.
Very disciplined player, but I think that comes with Salah's life and Salah's personality. He is a very disciplined person. He's competitive, not just with everybody else, he's competitive with himself. And that's the way they should be, because I'm a competitive person, and I always think like I want to beat past me. I want to be better than I was. And Salah looks at his track record and goes, I had a great season last season, but I didn't do this and I didn't do this. So they're my targets for this season. And that's what you need. And that's why he is so good. And that's why the press and rivals are so quick to undermine him, because he's everything no one thought he would be when we got him from Chelsea.
Yeah, and they don't like the fact that he plays a Liverpool either. That's why they wouldn't give him the credit he deserves.
They don't like that he became a success for us.
Yeah.
He couldn't be a success for Chelsea.
Yeah. So we're lucky to have Salah, and you can go on about, there's so many things you can say about Salah.
Let's talk about Alisson's save.
Yeah. But just before we get it, just going on to I'll just read some of the chats here. Inez says, what do you guys think of Bowen links? I think Bowen's a decent player, but I think it's going to cost a lot of money to get him, because West Ham bought for 25 million. Around that, they're going to want that, which is rising up to 30 million. They're going to want at least a profit on that. I don't think Bowen's worth 40 or 50 million for him.
That's like doing Ben. That gives me Ben White vibes.
I'd rather stay clear. Chris Ross decides the best wing in Premier League history. 100% agree with you there. Ravi says, Chris, yeah, we should, and the crowd back will only boost us. Totally agree there. Ravi says, will we sell Origi? How much we get in 50 million? Ravi, we can get 50 million for Origi. I would go dancing and singing, but I don't think anyone's going to pay 50 million for him. And I think Liverpool need to realistically go down to 10 million. Chris Ross is Salah angry after missing the chance, even though we're still winning. Simon a winner. 100% agree there. Cheddar said that there's players who score goals in the Farmers League get more respect than Salah. That is true. Chris Ross, Ethan Hazard went to Madrid for local Spanish restaurants. Yep. It's fine as we have Salah telling Harvey he can't eat bread instead. Ha. Yeah. He probably will have that kind of effect. But yeah, going on to Alisson's save. I mean, like, what can you say about this man? I mean, like, we're 3-0 up and he's hardly had anything to do the whole game. And he pulls off a wonder save.
He was up at the halfway line having a kickabout with the defence in the middle of the game because he had nothing to do. That says it all, doesn't it?
And, that's what I like about Alisson. Like, he can have nothing to do for 9 minutes, but that concentration to be switched on to danger. And that's what makes him world class. Other keepers don't have that. When we saw Milline, Karius, they don't have that kind of instinct when they get caught out. But Alisson has that, and that's what makes him so special. That's why he's the best keeper in the world, because no other. How determined he was to even. He saves one, parries the other one, then sees it up in the air, jumps up to put the other one over the bar. And I think his quote was like, he wanted a clean sheet, even though it hadn't made a difference to the overall score of the game. He wanted that clean sheet. Yeah, and that's what you love about him.
It was the fact that not only did he go down, then he stuck his leg out, but it's that. Like you said, it's that quick thinking to then know he needs to stand up. Like, when you've got all those players in your box and you're trying to then stand up, your reactions have got to be so sharp for that. And I remember when it happened, I instantly thought of that Napoli save. When he jumped out.
Oh, yeah.
That Napoli save was one of my favourite Alisson moments, and that brought that right back. Well, it wasn't as, grandiose as Napoli save, but it was that ability to just make yourself big, block the ball, and by all means necessary, keep it out. It was fantastic. Like, it's just that technical ability, that understanding, the awareness, the reactions, like, and as you've just said, then it's like to stand there and do nothing basically for 90 minutes, and then the minute that ball comes, switches on. That's a top class keeper, that, isn't it? Like, let's just look at Ederson for today. Ederson is a very, very, very good keeper. But the minute Son was on the edge of his box, in a very similar position to what Salah was, he stood there. He didn't even dive. He just let it go past him. No reaction whatsoever.
And how many times have we seen Son do one-on-one with Alisson? Alisson saves it.
And as the commentators said, he should have dived, because that's what Son does. He gets on the edge of the box, he takes it and he whacks it in, and he whacks it low. Dive, go down. At least if you go down, you've got a chance of saving it. And he didn't even do that.
So, but that's the thing, and Alisson's another one where I don't understand where, like Salah, people don't give him the respect he deserves, because he's the best keeper in the world. But people will say, oh no, it's Ederson, or they'll say it's Sturgeon, or or it's Noah. And it's not. Alisson's the best keeper in the world. He's the only keeper.
Because he plays for Liverpool. That's what it is.
Yeah, so I don't understand it. But going on to the centre backs, just want to give, I think before going Van Dijk, I just want to give Matip the credit he deserves, because Matip, by his injuries, is a world class centre back, and I think he's better than Maguire, and he's probably in the top 5 centre backs in the Premiership. It's just he's always injured. That's the downside, and he can't play a lot of football in this, in the space of a week. You can't play 3 games in a week, or even 2 games in a struggle at times. And I just think he's a outstanding centre back, and I think it's going to be hard for Konate and Gomez to get in the squad, and Matt keeps playing that way. He stays fit and plays that way, because I think yesterday he didn't put a foot wrong. He was winning balls. He was just outstanding, and I think he's one hell of a centre back, Matip. And
he got slapped on a lot.
Yeah, and he's just so good.
You know what Matip moment stood out for me yesterday? After the corner, when he was still up, and Jota assisted, took a long ball in, and he brought it down off his chest and went to score. And I was just like, I love you. I love you. Like, that was just, people just sleep on Matip so much because he has those injuries, but they forget that he's played quite a few runner games for us in the past, and he has been absolutely fantastic. And he plays so well alongside Virgil, doesn't he? And Matip alone, like I said, I wanted Matip to start with Canate because I trust Matip. He's so good, and I know he's slim, but he is strong. He is ridiculously strong. But I think he was well deserved the praise for yesterday. I think he stood out for all the right reasons to me, definitely.
I think that's the thing about Matip. And he's dominant in the air, which is so good as well. So I think the only thing with him is the fact that it's just the fitness. Otherwise, but I think with him we can manage his fitness in terms of games he can play to make sure that he is fit. And I don't think it would be too bad to rotate between Gomez, Canate, and Matip with Van Dijk. Keep Van Dijk there, but rotate the others based on the game and stuff in that sense. Just here, it finally says Matip deserved to score the header from the corner. Yeah, that was a good save. Salah says Chris Wells says Salah is my man of the match. Matt was close behind him. And then Ivana says couldn't agree more. Sophie, the guy IQ is unreal. He reads the game, and to be honest, people sleep on him. 100%. I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves again as a centre back. And I'd rather, if you could give me Matip fully fit over Maguire, I'd have Matip any day of the week. I think he's a much better technical player. Yeah. And obviously, we're going on to Virgil. I think Virgil had that one thing where Pukki caught him off guard when he ran through, but that's understandable because obviously Virgil's still getting back to his best and taking a while. Otherwise, after that, I think Virgil was outstanding. Some of the passes Virgil van Dijk was doing yesterday. Virgil, what he does with the ball helps us in attack so much. The way he's able to ping balls to the flanks, over the top, it just gives a whole new dimension. And it's something we missed last year because when teams pressed us, we didn't have anyone with Van Dijk, with Matip and Gomez all that injured. He can play those balls at the top that could beat the press. And I think Virgil being there is, he's outstanding. Those passes were outstanding. So, I think Van Dijk had a very good game. It was good for him to get 90 minutes on his belt. And I think another night against Burnley is what needed. But I thought he played very well as well. So I think it was a good outing for Van Dijk and Matip. Clean sheet under the belt. And with Burnley coming up, you want those two players playing there because it's going to be a physical game and they're going to relish the physicality of Burnley.
Yeah.
So who's going on? So before going man of match, just thinking about, so we won 3-0, big opening win, which is crucial, with Chelsea winning, United getting 5-1 against. So, it's the kind of game I think obviously Norwich is the kind of game that we needed, easy game to begin the season just to get the confidence flowing. So, how it's obviously still early days, but how important was it for you in your mind to start with a win?
Massive. Absolutely massive. It's, hit the ground running. You've really got to, everyone is already down on us this season. Everyone's already, brushing us off as we're not going to do anything. And I think if we'd have come out and drew, or we'd have lost, it would have just given them more fuel to the fire to say, like, Liverpool are past it. We're past our days now. They really could have just used that. It was our game to win type thing. We had to come out and show them that this is what Liverpool is. And for me personally, we didn't even get off the second gear. We didn't play the best football we've ever played, but it was enough. And that's where we were let down last season when we played against the lower league teams. The hardest part for us was playing them, because all we did was we just let see things go in. The harder opposition, the better we played, because we knew we had to take the game to them. This, for me, set a precedent, and I'm hoping that it sticks, that we don't care whether you're Manchester City with your 6 billion, whatever, raindrops, whatever the fuck you want to call them, type players. And we don't care if you're Brentford who've just come up for the first time in 74 years. We're going to play the Liverpool way. And it was very important. I mean, it doesn't change the Premier League. It doesn't change the table. It doesn't have any impact yet. I said it the other day. Won't make an impact until November. But definitely massive boost for the boys, massive boost for the fans. And the last time we beat Norwich, we won the league. So, hopefully it's a redo.
Yeah, before we go into the man of the match, just read out some of the comments here. It's Finer says the first 5 games would be huge for us. Yours says the hardest part of the season we fought Feb March. However, Ravi says, I've got a question for you, Sophie. What midfield would you start against Burnley?
Milner, Fabinho, and probably Keita. I don't think Thiago's going to be fit. If Thiago was fit, then it would be Thiago, Milner, Fabinho. I don't think you can drop Fabinho. I don't think you can drop Milner. It's just that third place for me. It could either be Naby Keita or Harvey Elliott. I don't think he'll play. I don't think it'll be Ox. I think it will be Naby Keita he plays again.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think Ox deserves to start. I don't see Elliott starting Premiership games this year. So I think it will be. You're right, Fabinho, Keita, and Milner for midfield. I think that'd be the right midfield for us to go. If I says, guys, who would be our ideal mid signings and forward signing each if we were to get someone? For me, it was probably going to be Sal Niguez for midfield or Florian Newhouse. An attack. That was a difficult one. I wanted Vlahovic, but I can't see us buying him for the price. Then either Harvey Barnes or Doku would be for me for forward. Right, you, Soph?
The mid signing, I still want Newhouse. I still absolutely adore him, and I would love him. I don't think it's going to happen though. Front forwards, honestly, I don't really have an opinion. For me, there's nobody that really stands out that I'm going, yeah, they're like a standout player. Because anyone who we're linked with now, it just feels like a charity shop link. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a genuine link. Like we're just being linked to it for the sake of it. There's no one that I personally see as our caliber who's affordable, who's willing to be an option, not a starter. So honestly, for front forwards, I don't have an opinion. I don't.
Cheddar says he wants Rafinha from Leeds.
Not going to happen.
I just think Rafinha needs another good season at Leeds, and I think they'll ask him for like 60-70 million. Don't think it's going to happen. It's fine. It says Basuma and Vlahovic. Vlahovic is going to cost 70 million apparently, so I can't see him coming. Basuma, I'm not the biggest fan of Basuma, to be honest. I'd rather not. It's Tate Bowen. I think Bowen's going to cost a lot of money as well. I don't think Tammy Abraham, while he's a decent player, I don't think Tammy Abraham's link-up play and overall play is that good. I think he scored goals because Chelsea's created a lot of chances. I don't think he's that good. But going on to...
Don't talk about Tammy Abraham in that attitude, please. Change your tone. Love Tammy Abraham.
Going on to man of the match. Who's the man of the match?
Salah. We wouldn't have won it without him. Simple as that. Wouldn't have won it without him. Goal, assists, done. Man of the match. 100%. No argument. I don't want to hear it. Salah.
I'm going to be different. I'll say Matip. Because
but we wouldn't have won without Salah.
Yeah, but you would have won without someone Matt's defending. So, I'll say that. Obviously, Salah, a goal and 2 assists. But I'll just be different. I'll say Matip. Otherwise, yeah. Just going to the comments here. Chris Wells says Salah Newhouse midfield. Doesn't have a clue about forward. His finance says Florentine will take installments, 100%. Same way we dealt. I'm not sure about that, mate, because even with like Atletico Madrid bid for him this week, Vlahovic, and they bid 50 million for him, and Florentine said they want 70. So I don't think they're taking installments for him. So I don't think that's going to happen. Chris Salah, 1 goal and 2 assists. My triple captain of the Fantasy Football League. Chris Ross, massive second for me. Okay, so we're going to do some trivia questions. So trivia time.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
If anyone in this chat, if you have any good trivia questions, do ask them.
Yes. Or any general questions at all.
Any general questions? Yeah, you got that are fun to ask. Just drop them in the chat and we'll read them out.
Right, I've got proper daft ones to start off with. Okay, if we were in a zombie apocalypse, okay, and you could pick 3 Liverpool players to help you escape, who would you pick?
3 Liverpool players to help escape.
Yeah.
I'd go Van Dijk because I think he's a man mountain. And I think like he'd be good. You know, you always want like a big tall person who's like a beast who can fight. I could just see if I gave Van Dijk like a shield or something. He could be really good at battering people off. Right. Second one.
It's ours, isn't it?
So the second one, I'd probably go for. I need someone who's very good at leadership and bringing people together. So I bring Hendo because I think he's very good at organizing people, getting people kind of like switched on, and you know, and he'll keep people morale, you know, because of his passion and stuff, you know, and his. So I'd bring him. And the last one I would say is I want someone quick. So
I love that. Just so he can be involved. Oh, bless him.
I'd want someone quick because you might need someone who's very fast to get stuff. So I'd go for Salah to say, look, we need your quickness because we're gonna distract these zombies and we need you to run down the other side to get some food and stuff. So we need that quickness, that pace. So yeah, and plus you got that body strength. So if a zombie does catch you, you can shove it off.
What are the chances that we would pick the exact same 3 players? I have literally, the dog's moved now, I can sit up. I have literally got Salah, Virgil, and Hendo written down for pretty much the exact same reasons. Picked Virgil because, well, another reason I picked Virgil was because it's Virgil. And if I'm going to die, I want to die looking at him. Because he's a colossus. He's a moving mountain, as you said, like, phenomenal player, and I think he'd be really strong. And I think because he's 6'5", if I climbed up and sat on his shoulders, then I could just get like a really large like javelin stick and just, you know, jab zombies in the head, and I'd be all right. Salah would be really quick, so if we needed supplies, it'd be like the Flash, he'd be back. And Hendo because he's the leader. So while I'm sat there flapping, going, I don't know what to do, he can be like, right, here's a plan of action. We're going to do this. But yeah, the exact same reasons.
Yeah.
But I love Chris's comment here. Phillips, just because he loves headbutting, I'd pay to see Phillips go around and just headbutt zombies.
So that's just one.
Next one. If you could have the option to either make 100 strangers' wishes come true, or you could make one of your own come true, which one would you pick?
100 strangers come true, mine.
You don't know what their wishes are. It could be anything.
I'm a big believer in good things coming back in return. When you do a good deed, it comes back to you. So I would do 100 other people because I think that goodness will come back to me.
Yeah, I said I'd do 100 strangers because there might be people who are making wishes for the wrong reasons, but like I said, what comes around goes around. But in those 100 people, I thought there might be one person who's sick and they just wish to be healthy and not to be sick anymore. And if I could take away their suffering and make them feel better, then that is worth every wish except mine, because there's nothing that I would really wish for that would succeed in what they wish for. So I was being quite kind.
Yeah, Chelsea has us here. Would you rather win the? Oh,
I I do. I love
one.
the Van Dijk song. It's my favorite thing. After
So
Genie.
Dennis says it. Yeah. Would you rather win the Premiership or the Champions League this season? I think the Premiership for me because I want number 20. I want to move ahead of Man United.
For me, Champions League is hard to win, and it's however you perform after the group stages. It's in the knockouts. You can have one bad game and you're out. Do you know what I mean? Like the Champions League is the best of the best for a reason. However, the league eluded us for so long, and then we won it, and we didn't get the parade, we didn't get the celebration, we didn't have fans in the stadium, and people have written us off, saying that it was a fluke type thing. And I just really want to show them that it wasn't. So I want the Prem all day, every day. Like I'm not really bothered about number 7. If I can only have one, I want number 20 over number 7 because there's still no English club that's won near as many Champions League trophies as us. So just saying, would like number 20 just to Man United.
This is a good one from it's Inez. I'll let you start. Sophie, you can answer that first.
I ain't going Goodison. I ain't going Goodison, and You're not putting me in that infested.
You have to pick one.
God.
You have to pick one.
A greenhouse. I am not going there.
You have to pick one.
I'm not going to that. I'd rather have the kit.
So you go for the kit?
I would rather have a blue kit over giving up Anfield. Because a colour is a colour. And if you're colourblind, it doesn't make a difference, does it? What if you're colourblind? You don't know the difference between red and blue, or green looks red and red looks blue. It doesn't matter then, does it? I mean, I'm not colourblind, but it wouldn't make a difference, would it? So I'd rather have the kit than the ground, because their ground is horrendous. What about you?
Yeah, I'd go for the kit as well. Like Anfield's special to us. And it's the history there. I wouldn't want Everton having I wouldn't want Everton having that bars of Anfield Stadium and stuff. Even though they're ruining it, I just wouldn't want them there.
It would give them power that I don't want.
Yeah. So it's the kit for me. But I'd never wear it.
I love you, Chris. I absolutely adore your comments. You know, they make me howl.
I'd never wear the t-shirt though. I'd never wear it ever.
No, I wouldn't buy it. I would not wear it, but I'd rather see the lads in blue than see them playing in. No, no. Right, okay. Last one. Okay, if you woke up in a jail cell, okay.
Yep.
You had no idea. Okay, what happened? What would you be in for? What would be the reason you woke up in that jail cell?
So working on the jail set.
What would you be in for? What was it you were arrested for?
I was arrested for.
Yeah. I know what I'd be arrested for. 100%.
I'd be arrested for breaking into Pep Guardiola's house and attacking him and saying he's a fraudster. You know. I just graffiti in his house saying that he's a fraudster.
Ooh, trespassing.
Well, mate, cool. It's been. I'll call you Finn for now, mate. Cool.
Yeah,
What's yours?
I just started a fight.
With who?
Anybody. Right, there's a reason for this. If I'm out with my girls, I'm the mum. I'm very protective. So if people start leering over them or like grabbing onto them and they're saying no and people aren't listening, I will get in their face and start yelling. I love that.
Chris, you laugh.
Arrested for something, it would definitely have been getting into a fight. Yeah. 100%. I'd have got into a fight because my mouth runs away with me. And I'd have got into a fight. Someone would have bit me and then I'd have bit them back. That's what it would be. But yeah, I'm out now. Got no more.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good point to wrap up. We appreciate everyone in the comments. That's good, Finn, that you found us through Coppish, mate. Thank you. I appreciate the fact that you like our stream too. We appreciate that. You know, Coppish is a great channel. we're good friends with the Coppish people. So yeah, it's good that people also like ours as well. Yeah,
I'm
perfect. So
sorry.
yeah,
This is the comment. This is the comment for the stream. I'm gonna start a new segment where I pick like my favorite comment. This is it. This right here is the best part of the stream today. Well done, Chris. You're the viewer today.
So everyone in the chat, we appreciate you being on tonight, spending your Sunday with us, doing this post match. Do like and subscribe if you haven't done, and do also tell other people like about our podcast. Because the more people we can get on here, the bigger it can be, and we are gonna be going back into having like special big guests like James Pearce and other big podcasts such as the Anfield Rap and all those ones on the shows here as well down the road. So. We appreciate it. Otherwise, we will be back again probably Friday we've got Birmingham Saturday, right?
I have no idea. I haven't even looked that far ahead in the calendar. I
think it'll be Saturday.
I'll have a look and go on. We are playing on Saturday, Burnley, so we'll be back Friday.
Yeah. So Friday we're back for post match preview for Burnley game. Otherwise, we will see you all then, everyone. Have a great evening and up the Reds.
Later. You want to find the off button? You okay?
No. I'm just finding this one.